Hey, this is Bennett and you're watching Melodification. This week we're doing 9-pound hammer. First I'm gonna play the Scruggs version so you can hear the melody, but I do bounce around a little bit with some variation, and then you're gonna hear my melodic take on 9-pound hammer, which is gonna be based on the melody, but there's gonna be some more technical aspects to it. If you want the tab, you can sign up on my mailing list. The link is below this video. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for a new video. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. One, two, three, four, one. In this version of 9-pound hammer, you notice that I'm staying primarily up the neck past the 5th fret. I do some melodic stuff down here in the melodic version of this, but for the most part, it's up in this area of the neck. And I just wanted to do that to kind of demonstrate the different notes that you can grab in both Scruggs style and melodic style to create a kind of unique break on 9-pound hammer. I'm gonna briefly go over the Scruggs style version first because it's not note for note the melody. I start out here in this position, this G position. And all that is you know, I'm kind of taking that I'm taking that down the neck hammer-on thing that JD and Earl do a lot when you're hammering from the 2nd to 3rd fret, and I'm making that a bend on the 10th fret. So there's a lot of bending in this Scruggs version. So it goes, and it's actually an up bend, and then you're doing a down bend. So. And so that's the Foggy Mountain Breakdown bend that you hear at the beginning of the up the neck version of Foggy Mountain Breakdown. And you'll notice that I'm doing, that was really fast, sorry about that, but I'm doing up bends for the most part, but on the very last one, I'm doing a down bend. And that's a nuance that not a lot of people, and that's a nuance that Earl does in Foggy Mountain Breakdown that I really, really dig. That one little down bend at the end makes all the difference for me. So I do that down bend, and then you're back in this kind of Scruggsy position. And then for the next part, I'm trying to hit the melody, so I go. And all this is right here is going from this G position to this G7th position, to the C, and then to this C7th position. And then I end up on that G. And then I'm just going down in the G position. So you've got this G position, this one, and then the bar chord. And then to end it, I do a couple bends. So when you analyze this, it's not that complex. It's all based out of these different positions on the neck. It's basically just different positions and bending. So when we get to the melodic style version, instead of starting in the Scruggs position, I actually start down here. And I play those melody notes on the second string. So that is the same notes as this, but they're played on a different string, and the feel of it is different because you're bending here, and then you're sliding and pulling off here. So you have this same notes, but completely different feel. And I could go either way. Sometimes I prefer to bend. Sometimes my positioning lends itself more to sliding and pulling off. But it's really up to you. So you could put those bends in this melodic version, or you could put the slides and pull-offs in the Scruggs version. It all works. It all sounds really nice. So you have, and that right here is a C chord. So if you can see that position, it's out of that root position chord. And then you're going, and then some Scruggs. So it's all out of this G position right here. And you hear I'm bringing out those melody notes a lot. So I'm da, boom, ba, 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 da. And then instead of going the walk up, like, which you can totally still do, I'm doing a melodic thing. So I'm going, and that's something that I've done in a lot of other melodification videos, but in this one, you're starting on the G note, and it's just a 5-note G scale pattern. So you're going G, A, B, C, D, and then I start a thirds pattern. And so a thirds pattern is, this is a descending thirds pattern, but the ascending thirds pattern is G, B, so you're going up in thirds. So you're gonna go up 1/3 and then down a 2nd. So you're gonna go G, B, A, so down a 2nd from B is A, G, B, A, up a 3rd again, and in that pattern you're gonna continue that. So I'll have that tabbed out for you so you can get that under your fingers before you try and tackle this thirds pattern, because it really helps for you to just know the scale in its entirety before trying to actually do it in a song. So G, B, A, C, B, D. That's the thirds pattern. But in this thirds pattern, I am doing something a little different. I'm actually implying a G7th chord over this scale pattern. So instead of doing it with the F sharp, because we're leading to the C is the next chord, I'm kind of like thinking ahead, and it's also what my ear is hearing, but I'm actually putting an F natural instead of an F sharp in there. So it goes, as opposed to a regular G one would be, hear the difference? It's subtle, but it's really helpful when transitioning to the 4 chord in the song. So, and that's your 4 chord. So that's a C note, and that's the beginning of the C measure. And so at that point, I'm actually transitioning into a C lick. So I'm using that melodic phrase to land on this C, an octave above our starting point. And then I'm sliding that down to, it looks like a B flat chord, but really it's a implied C ninth chord, because you have the B flat here, which is the 7th of the C chord, and then you have the D here, which is the 9. So, and then just a descending melodic major scale pattern for the key of G. To end on that A, which is part of the D chord. And the reason I'm breaking this down is so you can kind of understand this more, but ultimately, it doesn't really matter. None of this stuff really matters. It only matters that you're listening to this and learning it and picking it up and using some of these concepts. If you listen to me break it down and you have no idea what I'm talking about, it's totally okay. Just focus on learning the music and playing what you're hearing. That's the most important part about playing music. All the theory stuff is kind of secondary. So I really encourage you to learn this stuff by ear. Listen to the YouTube recording as much as you can. And please let me know if you have any questions about this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week for a new video.